The crash that shut down 285 is at a notoriously dangerous spot. We found 285 crashes on that stretch of 285.
There's people with bumper stickers that say, "Pray for me. I drive 285 every day."
The reason the state's fancy new firefighting helicopters are not being used to fight the fire south of Leadville. A Republican congressional candidate says he knows just how Donald Trump could use the military to round up and deport people from Colorado. And with anti-LGBTQ attacks rising, together we'll support a program that offers free mental health care to people who are too often targeted by hate. Because when bad things happen, you don't just watch, because this is next. If you know Schaefer's Crossing, the map dot on 285 in Jefferson County, it's likely because you know that spot on the map sees a lot of terrible crashes. The wreck that killed someone there yesterday is the 5th this year. We pulled the stats, and in the last 11 years, that stretch of 285 has seen 285 crashes. Our Marshall Zellinger is up there tonight, and Marshall, if the drivers know it's dangerous, then CDOT knows it's dangerous, so why hasn't it been fixed?
It's not as though nothing's been done here, Kyle. The speed limit's down to 45 miles an hour, but it's been that way for a number of years. There have been modifications to that curve. The median's been widened, and there's actually some sort of barrier where it didn't usually exist, but not enough changes to change the constant crashes. Where the orange cones are on the left, that's a drop-off. Our side of the highway, where those cars are going around the curve, that's the rock face of a mountain, so perhaps the solution's not as simple as we hope. For this stretch of Highway 285 near Pine Junction, that's not an uncommon sound.
There's people with bumper stickers that say, "Pray for me. I drive 285 every day."
Daily commutes to and from home should not be considered life or death, like the way Barb Halverson describes hers.
I finally bought myself one of those cameras, car cameras, just because I'm going to get hit one of these days, and I want to be able to prove to the insurance company it wasn't my fault, or to be able to say goodbye to my kids because I've been killed.
What happened on Highway 285 at Schaefer's Crossing yesterday is still fresh. The missing guardrail, the damage to the cable barriers in the median. A semi-truck went off the road, dropping its load of pipe and iron. That load hit 5 cars, killing a person in one of those cars.
We need to understand what types of crashes have been happening in the area, why they're happening, and what are the types of crashes we can potentially prevent.
Highway 285 is CDOT's responsibility. Colorado State Patrol investigates the accidents, and CSP has recorded at least 285 within 2 miles of this curve in the last 11 years.
If you're talking about steep grades, sharp curves, and the potential for high speeds, you're going to have a problem area.
We need law enforcement, some kind of barrier, whether that's concrete, wire, something to keep people in their own lanes.
After several head-on crashes and near misses, CDOT installed a cable barrier in the median in 2016.
The road needs to be repaired. We have potholes. The shoulders are horrible. That if you go off, you're lost. So it's not just the barriers. There's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Before 2016, there were no barriers on that curve. It was just median. Then CDOT installed those cable barriers, thought about doing concrete Jersey barriers, but didn't in the end. And here's the reason why, and it's still true today. Consider this piece of wood my Jersey barrier and this ice, snow in the wintertime. CDOT tells me that if you have snow that gets plowed by a snowplow, it's going to leave a little bit right next to the Jersey barrier that then creates this thaw and then freeze in the cold temperatures overnight, creating a brand new hazard of cars hitting an icy patch that doesn't currently exist, but would exist in this example, creating more accidents than perhaps what that shows.
So safer solution for summertime, not necessarily safer in the winter, Marshall.
And the winter being from September to May, Matt Inzio from CDOT told me he drove this stretch twice last month, snow both times in May on this stretch of Highway 285.
Marshall, thank you. Tonight, the tallest mountain in the Rockies is flanked by an even taller smoke plume. The small fire beside Mount Elbert south of Leadville has now doubled in size. The Interlochen fire is burning on the south side of Twin Lakes. The Forest Service says it is spread to a bit more than 400 acres, still less than a square mile. They've been fighting it from the air, but they haven't gotten any containment as that fire moves through dead and downed trees. Now, you might be thinking, well, that sounds like a job for the state's multi-million-dollar Firehawk helicopter, right? Our Kelly Rinke explains why Colorado's expensive, shiny new firefighting toy is not on the scene.
One of Colorado's best tools to fight wildfires comes from the sky. The U.S. Forest Service needed helicopters and tankers for a fire near Twin Lakes. Closest options were in Canyon City, Colorado Springs, and Centennial. Just a little further away sits a new Firehawk helicopter, a converted Black Hawk. 3 years ago, the state approved $24 million to buy it. The state didn't request to use it for this wildfire because it wasn't the closest, and the pilots are still in training.
It's not a vehicle you go pick up off the showroom floor even. These are very specific assets with very detailed specifications.
Mike Morgan is the director of the Colorado Division of Fire Prevention and Control. He says delays, recalls on the engine, and problems with the water tank set the project back a year and a half. Right now, he says the Firehawk could be deployed in an emergency case-by-case situation, but he estimates it won't be fully operational until August.
And it's very complex when you get into the tank operations, when you get a helitack crew, when you get into hoist operations, the dipping and all the things that go along with this helicopter.
This helicopter is in addition to other types of air support for first responders, a massive and expensive tool Colorado hopes to introduce this wildfire season.
I think a lot of the perception, Kelly, is that this Firehawk is the only helicopter in the state. It is one of many tools in the toolbox.
So the state spent another $26 million last year to buy a second Firehawk helicopter. The Black Hawk is expected to be delivered in Colorado in September, and then that second will be converted into that firefighting chopper. As we've previously reported, the state was also paying for a pilot and a mechanic. Even though the helicopter was totally grounded, the state signed a $2.4 million contract with an aviation company.
We should throw a party the day that thing flies. Kelly Rinke, thank you. Our next conversation tonight is with Republican State Rep Richard Holtorf, one of 5 Republicans in a GOP primary against the frontrunner in that race, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Holtorf acknowledges that the crowded field is likely to help Boebert win the 4th Congressional District, even if she gets far less than half the vote. Holtorf says it's the other Republicans, not him, who should have cleared the field for a one-on-one matchup that Boebert could lose. Holtorf says he's the most qualified, citing his military experience for how he would help Donald Trump pull off a military-backed deportation of more than 10 million people here illegally, even if Holtorf has some concerns about whether it's the right thing to do. How would it actually work if Donald Trump wanted to send the National Guard or the military into the 4th District to start pulling people out of homes to deport them?
Certainly. So, you ready? Because I have the answer. No other candidate in this field can give you this answer. They're not qualified, but I am, and here's why. I served in all 3 components in the U.S. Army. I served on active duty all over the world. I served in the National Guard. I also served in the United States Army Reserve.
Would you be comfortable with those forces rolling into Parker, rolling into Akron?
But see, they're not rolling in. Here's what they do. They go and join, just like in any disaster. Okay, let's say Hurricane Katrina. Did you know that we had military forces go in there to help the cleanup? Engineer forces, yeah, in Florida. We've done this mission before, just in a different context under a different mission set.
Is it the moral thing to do to deport 150, 200,000 people out of Colorado who entered the country illegally?
I think humanly, and in a human level, and under the spirit of humanity, we wouldn't do that. We're better than that, I believe. But
Congresswoman Lauren Boebert says deport them all. Yeah, Donald Trump says 17 million. And I'm asking, what does Richard Holtorf think?
So let me tell you something. Lauren Boebert is a fool. She says, build the wall, deport them all. And she has no plan for doing that. I don't even think she could think of a plan if you gave her 10 hours. I've outlined exactly how it works here, what the connecting relationships are, and how you would have to do it.
When our conversation continues, I will ask Holtorf how he squares his votes against abortion access with his support for his former girlfriend's right to get an abortion herself. Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert is attacking President Joe Biden after his son Hunter's conviction on federal gun charges. Boebert posted, "How long till dear old dad gets involved and fixes this all up for him?" That's interesting, seeing how Boebert also has an adult son facing criminal charges. Now, that's not a slam. That's just an observation that there was an opportunity for Boebert to choose empathy over politics. She chose politics. Because Boebert and Biden have actually had remarkably similar public responses to their sons' criminal indictments. They both have said that they've tried to keep their sons out of trouble over the years. They've both said that their sons will have to be accountable for their actions. Both Boebert and Biden have expressed hope that their sons' dark times are now behind them. And both Boebert and Biden have said that they will respect the judicial process. Biden said that he won't pardon his son, and Boebert has made no excuses for her son. They're both going through what must be an extremely painful thing for a parent. It could have been common ground, but Boebert chose scorched earth. The recent anti-pride rhetoric targeting the LGBTQ community has people worried. Those calls to burn all pride flags, the echoes of the Westboro Baptist Church's hate. I've heard from Next viewers concerned about what happens when those words turn into actions that target them. And the worry alone can do real harm to a person. But there's an amazing resource to support our community. This week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign supports the nonprofit the Center on Colfax and its free mental health program for LGBTQ Coloradans. Adults can get 12 free individual counseling sessions there, no insurance or referral needed. The nonprofit also offers monthly peer support groups and social events, a place to feel welcome. The Center on Colfax has been the anchor of Colorado's LGBTQ community for generations. They recently surveyed LGBTQ Denverites, and 7 in 10 reported having a mental health challenge in the last year. And that was before the recent rise in anti-gay hate in our state. Together, we can do something real to support our neighbors. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491 and we'll send you that link to donate. You know that even $5 helps, so as always, I will match the first 50 donations of $5 to get us started. More than 2,700 of you have already signed up to simplify your giving with a monthly donation to the Word of Thanks Fund. That has meant that we have started out your recent micro-giving campaigns with almost $20,000 in donations each week. Use that same QR code or text to get there. When our next conversation returns, we'll ask a Republican congressional candidate why he supported his girlfriend's choice to get an abortion, but has tried to take that right away from other women. Why is an abortion good for your girlfriend, bad for other women?
And I'm a pro-life person. I think you should try to choose life every time.
He's never boxed as a pro, yet that Coloradan just joined the Boxing Hall of Fame. 4th Congressional District Republican primary candidate Richard Holtorf has voted in the state legislature to restrict abortion access. But he also gave a speech in the legislature talking about his former girlfriend's abortion, how he respected her rights so she could live her best life. I asked Holtorf to square that with his policy of trying to restrict abortion rights. If abortion was the best choice for your girlfriend, why try to deny that choice to other women?
So let me give you some context about that situation, because I'm a pro-life Catholic, and I believe everyone should choose life. Now, if you listen to my presentation on the House floor, did you listen to it?
I did, in fact. I just quoted from it.
Okay, so what was the major theme, and what did I had to repeat probably 20 times?
Hold
on, let me help you.
Oh, I thought you were asking me a question.
No, go ahead.
In fairness, your logic was a bit scattered in that speech. What I'm asking you about is the fact that you said that you respected your girlfriend's right to an abortion and then gave her money to help her through an important time to live her best life.
You did exactly what I did.
But yet you've tried to deny that to other women. And I'm asking, why is an abortion good for your girlfriend, bad for other women? That's my question. Simple question.
Okay. She had an abortion. Was that her choice? Yes. Did she have that right? Yes. Was it my choice, Kyle? No.
Why do you seek to deny the choice that you said was best for your girlfriend's life?
Let me finish explaining.
Why do you seek to deny it to other women?
I don't.
You have voted to restrict abortion access as a legislator.
And I have. And I'm a pro-life person. I think you should try to choose life every time. But there are exceptions. And there are times when you need abortion. Abortion is a medical procedure.
Is one of the exceptions when Richard Holtorf's the father?
No, it is not. It's not about me. Don't personalize it and make it about me. It's not.
You told the story on the House floor.
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
That doesn't matter. Okay. That's a story.
Okay.
That's not that important. What's more important is the policy.
My full 46-minute conversation with Richard Holtorf is up right now on the Next YouTube page. We've invited all of the 4th Congressional District GOP primary candidates to join us this week. It's the safest Republican seat in Colorado's delegation, and all but Congresswoman Lauren Boebert and Jerry Sonnenberg have agreed. Kathy Sabin's along now after we tied a record high out at DIA in Denver today.
And Kyle, I think we could go warmer tomorrow. It's all about timing, the timing of an approaching cold front. That 97-degree high ties a record set way back in 1952, marking this as the hottest day of the season so far. Triple-digit highs out across the western slope, close to 100 in Lamar and Greeley today. And we're tracking gusty storms with wind and lightning. Fire managers on their toes as the heat continues tomorrow until thunderstorms and cooler weather move in on Friday. The wind's been picking up to the north and west of us with gusts to 20 and 30 miles per hour. Poor air quality, another ozone action day tonight and tomorrow, and an air quality alert for the area in and around the Twin Lakes fire. Tracking a couple of gusty storms, non-severe, but high-base storms mean wind and lightning, and on a hot, dry day with high fire danger, you don't want that. Severe weather threat is north and east of us tonight. We'll include a tiny piece of northeastern Colorado tomorrow. We'll see a hot high in the mid-90s tomorrow ahead of a cooler Friday. Beautiful Father's Day Sunday, though, with sunshine and 93 degrees.
A Coloradan gets into the Boxing Hall of Fame without throwing a punch. That's next. If you've heard anything about the history of boxing in Colorado, probably has to do with the legend, Jack Dempsey. Our state is also home to a new member of the Boxing Hall of Fame, but he's no fighter.
Every inductee gets presented with a ring before they make their acceptance speech. So if you can see this, that's the front of it. So you build up a resume and you build up a reputation, and all of a sudden you see your name on a ballot in the fall of last year, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then I get a call in December saying, don't say anything, but in 10 days we're announcing you're one of the winners. You're going to be inducted in the class of 2024. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm not a promoter per se, because the promoter is the one taking the risks and putting up all the money. So what I do is help publicize these fighters. I kind of complement and enhance the value of their newsworthiness by coming up with a few, things and getting a good story out of it. Manny Pacquiao, for instance, he's a once-in-a-lifetime athlete, and he had a great personality. His English got way better. Then the next thing you know, he's on Jimmy Kimmel 7 times, singing songs with Kimmel and the celebrities and doing skits. He's on the cover of Time magazine. But to me, they're all my kids, these fighters, and I just enjoy going into camp and telling their stories and things that people don't know about. I can't even describe it. It was the greatest thing ever.
Congrats to him. Well, some of you have been itching to give me feedback, and that's great, because we'll scratch that itch. Next. This Pride Month, the LGBTQ community in Colorado is being targeted with some really ugly rhetoric. But we can do something about that. This week's Word of Thanks micro-giving campaign supports the mental health care that's provided by the nonprofit, the Center on Colfax. The center offers free therapy sessions for members of the LGBTQ community, pairing them with welcoming, affirming therapists who understand their challenges and can help them out. To join me in supporting Center on Colfax, scan that QR code or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491. You'll see 2 options, one to give this week, another to chip in a little for each week's micro-giving campaign through a monthly donation. Fritz writes in, "Oh, Kyle, I used to like you. Now you're just talking flesh. You sound like you've been hit in the head with a bag of nickels. That is either disturbing or poetic or both."